Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Derek here, or Theo, right? Look, I'm going to share some things with you that can be really life-changing. In fact, I guarantee that it will be life-changing just through a simple perspective shift or shift of perspective, right? Look, however you prefer to say it. And this is for anybody. It does not matter what level you are currently sitting in at or getting ready to be at. It's about government contracting. And the reason why many of you have not been able to thrive, survive, or even enter into this space is because chances are you have probably been taught the wrong way. And what I mean by that is you have been given this perspective as if government contracting is this big giant that you have to be super smart, intellectual. You have to have these certifications. It's all about NAICS codes. It's all about the capability statements. Look, those things are just the check boxes, but they are not the things that make you special. The things that make you special are the things that show that you understand what your customer needs. Who is your customer? Your customer is the agency. So if you want to work with Department of Veterans Affairs, they're your customer. You see what I'm getting at? So your customer in this case would be Department of Defense, Department of Agriculture, Department of Justice, FEMA, which is under Department of Homeland Security, Department of Transportation, Department of the Interior, Department of Agriculture, so on and so forth. You get it, right? Now, I really want you to listen up because today you're going to have an opportunity. Excuse me, let me get this out the way. I got my note taker, as I always do when I just want to sit and flow, right? It's good to have notes, right? And that's actually going to be a big part of today's discussion because I need you to have notes and to not have a short attention span. But look, let's get right into this. So I want to start off with the talking point here that GovCon, government contracting, GovCon is actually easy. It is tedious, but it's easy. And what I'm basically telling you is this. If you have a short attention span, I'm going to tell you right now, just go ahead and look, if you have a short attention span, unsubscribe from this channel, get off of this video and just go and find something to do that keeps you stimulated. Anyone who told you that government contracting is fast, it's furious, it's quick, you can just skim over a couple things and get a contract, they are lying to you. However, if you are the type of person who is disciplined enough to sit your ass down just for a few minutes, right, and actually learn something, you can be a millionaire in literally 6 to 8 months. I just had an interview with Sheena Parker, Sheenapreneur, and Yvette Jones Swanson. I talked with Eric Coffey about this many years ago. For those of you who know those people are, those are major names in the GovCon space and the veteran housing space. But it's about discipline and sitting down and paying attention. So it rewards taking notes. It rewards being able to write. It rewards being able to read. That's literally it. So when someone comes to me and say, "Hey, Derek, can I do government contracting?" I say, can you read? Can you take notes? Can you comprehend? Can you remember? It is that simple. It is not the only special skills are going to be based on the type of contract that you want. For example, if you want to be an engineer, then you need engineering skills. If you want to sell, if you want to sell toilet paper to some independent bathroom business in the middle of the streets, then you need to be able to sell toilet paper. It's that simple, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and move on now. But look, why do people think government contracting is hard? This is a good one. Once again, people confuse difficulty with patience. People want stuff fast. And I'm going to tell you once again, if you want something fast, this is not the thing for you. If you want something fast, look, man, just go. Do something, do more of a pop-up business is probably something more like a pop-up business is something that you'd probably be suited for. But it is not intellectually hard. It's actually intellectually simple. Once again, when someone asks me, can I do GovCon? I say, can you read? Can you read? If you can read, if you can understand, if you can comprehend, if you can take notes, you can do government contracting. So, who is it for? What kind of business can do government contracting? Well, think about every business that is required for society and infrastructure to move. That's everything. There is no good or service that the government does not need. So guess what? If you are already an entrepreneur and you know that you have a viable business, you are in luck because there is a space in government contracting for you, as long as you don't mind sitting down, reading and understanding how to communicate whatever it is that they want in that sam.gov solicitation, which is for the federal government, or one of those local procurement e-tools. What's a local e-procurement tool? For example, if you want to get a contract with the city of Chicago or city of Houston, city of Atlanta, so on and so forth, right? New York, Los Angeles, does not matter. Dallas, New Orleans, which is where I'm from. If you want to get a contract with those people, each of those cities, they're going to have what's called they're going to have a website, an e-procurement website or e-purchasing website. That's pretty much the same as federal acquisitions and procurement. It is all contracting, purchasing, procurement, right? So those are your customers. But as long as you do not mind, as long as you understand that it is all about sitting down, reading what they put in those solicitations on those different procurement platforms, from sam.gov to the city or state procurement platform. The examples I just gave. You sit down, you read exactly how they want you to communicate with them. So this is the way it goes, right? The city, state, or federal government, they need something. You have something that you already do, something you're already good at, something you are already passionate about, most likely. I hope you're passionate about it anyway, right? So it is a matter of you already understanding whatever it is you do. How do you communicate that with your customer? I'm sure you already have a way to do that. Well, guess what? All the government wants is for you to read the way. They want you to read what they need, and they want you to understand how the information needs to be prioritized when you present that thing that you already do to them. It is literally that simple. Everything you need to know is already right there in the solicitation. You don't need to call nobody. You don't need to get your buddies to help you interpret it. I'm telling you, if you can read and speak English, you can take what you already do and communicate that to your customer, which in this case, if you're on this channel, it's the federal government, your state government, or your city government, your municipality. All right. So who can do it? It's that simple. It's all about, they don't hide the rules. They literally publish the rules. They literally tell you exactly how they want you to communicate everything to them. It is that simple. And by the way, give a quick little gem. We talk about this in almost every video, the Federal Acquisition Regulation, known as the FAR, F-A-R, all right? Go ahead, Google that and get acquainted with it, because guess what? That's the one that you're gonna need to know it if you want to do business with the federal government. And guess what? If you want to do business with the city or state government, they're gonna have their own purchasing manuals and things, but those things are literally just spin-offs of the FAR, the Federal Acquisition Regulation. Now, let's shift the lens a little bit, okay? Let's think infrastructure. Now, think about, what is infrastructure? Infrastructure is everything that we need for a country to function. A country does not move without it, all right? If you don't fully understand this, oh, that's my Bluetooth. If you don't fully understand the concept of infrastructure, please pause this video right now, Chat GPT it, Claude AI it, Google it, infrastructure. All right, hopefully you did that. Now look, for those who don't know anyway, so let me read one of my notes. A country does not move without infrastructure. Infrastructure is not just roads and bridges. It includes transportation, energy, water, communications, housing, logistics, supply chain, emergency response, We can even go as far as oil and gas, but I guess that would be a sector of energy, right? So all of the things that we need for your major economic sectors to function, all of the things that we need to all of the things that we need to travel, all the things we need to move and function as a society, that is infrastructure. So if we're going to shift the lens and think infrastructure, we now understand what all of this is based on, because government contracting is literally filling those infrastructural gaps, right? So when you think about it, we just talked about what infrastructure is, right? Well, guess what? Infrastructure, because infrastructure is managed and operated by humans, there's always going to be human error, which means there will always be infrastructural gaps. Now, every one of these have a federal, state, or local agency responsible for it. Every one of what? Every sector of infrastructure. So if you think infrastructure, once again, right? Transportation, energy, water, communications, housing, logistics, emergency response. Those are some of your various sectors of infrastructure. Well, guess what? So when you think of infrastructure, there's a different agency that answers every aspect of infrastructure. You think about that, right? So let's back up a little. Your country needs infrastructure to move. And the government agencies are put there because every sector of infrastructure needs an administrator. Well, who's the administrator for transportation? The Department of Transportation. Who is the administrator, the administration that is responsible for defense? Department of Defense. What about housing? Department of Housing and Urban Development. You see what I'm getting at? You see what I'm saying? Think about your regulatory and technology agencies, communications, emergency response. Who would be the administrator for emergency response? FEMA. So, with every sector of infrastructure, there is a government agency that is planted or that is designated to be responsible over that different sector of infrastructure. Now, the issue is every aspect of infrastructure always has gaps and holes. That's where you come in at. There's something that you can do. There's something that you already do that can fill those various infrastructural gaps. Now, I already know what you're thinking. Well, I do food service. Well, yes, you can fill that infrastructural gap. You know why? Because all of the workers at all of those agencies, that entire workforce, they sometimes, and actually all the time, they need food vendors who can come and work on site, who can work. Sometimes those food vendors can do something big like work at the airport. Many other times you can set up cafeterias within those agencies, within those workforce areas. So there are so many ways you can do this. You can be the main caterer that they use for all of their weekly office events. All you have to do is send them an unsolicited proposal. No matter what it is you do. Oh, goodness, my son and his loud car out there. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, now, so infrastructure is never complete because it degrades, it expands, it gets stressed by population growth, weather events, supply chain breakdowns, budget shifts, policy changes. For example, housing shortages after disasters, aging electrical grids, overloaded transportation corridors, outdated IT systems, emergency logistics gaps, right? So you can either serve those major infrastructural gaps, or you can serve the people who are in place to serve those gaps through being a subcontractor, or you can be somebody who provides supplies and services and IT, food, and the various things that people need to remain comfortable while they are performing their duties as the administrative workforce of that various sector of infrastructure. All right, now let's keep moving, and this is where you come in at. this is where you come in to be a little more formal, right? The good thing is this: you are not asking for money. You are presenting a solution. Contracts are created when an agency identifies a gap or an infrastructural gap. That gap threatens operations or infrastructure, and they need it fixed, supported, or stabilized. They need that gap fixed, supported, or stabilized. They need that dysfunctional operation within an administrative workforce fixed, supported, or stabilized. So, as the bidder, you show that you understand the infrastructure. You show that you understand the gap. You explain how your solution fills that hole. All right, got it? Let's see, did we, okay, got it, I think we're good. Now, so you're not selling, you're stabilizing, you're not asking for money, you're presenting a solution. And these are the things that will reflect in your simple proposals. Simple because, look, I'm gonna tell you, I know some of you love these big 30, 40, 50 page solutions for everything, but sometimes the agency wants to see if you can give it to them in just a few pages, because truth is, they have a bunch of projects on their desk that's sometimes stacked all the way to the sky. And when I say project, we're talking about we're talking about the problems that they have to publish as a solicitation so that you can bid on that solicitation, and then you win and you receive a notice of intent to award so that can become a contract. All right? Now, so once again, once you understand these things, you can speak to it intelligently. It does not, to be honest with you, it does not even take intelligence to do this. It is so simple. So if we want to do a quick little review, right? It's all about understanding infrastructure. Think about the things that we need. Just think about if you live in a city as big as Houston, America's fourth largest city, 668 square miles. That's what they had it recorded at one time. I don't know what it is now. Could be a little less, could be a little more. You know, things get annexed and zoned differently, so on and so forth. I digress. But let's say if you need to drive across the city of Houston, you have experienced, if you drive from Southwest Houston to Northeast Houston, you have probably crossed at least 12 different sectors of infrastructure, or at least experienced it just from getting to point A to point B. It's that simple. All you have to do is look around you. Infrastructure is everywhere. It's everywhere when you're driving across a bridge, when you're watching trucks pass, when you're watching warehouses go up, when you're watching police officers move. How can you come up with something to serve the police force? How can you come up with maybe you can open a warehouse so that one of these agencies can have a place to store their supplies, and then you get a 28-year lease with the government for that warehouse. This happens. We just awarded two, one in Sugar Land, Texas, another in North Texas, not right outside of Dallas, actually in Wichita Falls. All right, so government contracting is how infrastructure keeps moving. You are basically being paid to keep systems functional. You're basically paid to prevent breakdowns, to restore operations, to support continuity. That's it. It's not glamour. It's not hype. It's not function. You get paid because the country needs to keep moving. So think about all of the things that this country needs to keep moving, and then think about the people who have to work to keep those things moving. So in some instances, you can either bid on contracts or create them for yourselves just by understanding what the different agencies need to keep functioning. I gave you a clue as to how to identify what agencies are. So think about this. If you want another example, just have a sit down, grab you some coffee or whatever it is. I don't know, some Oreo cookies, whatever it is you do when you like to sit down and learn and analyze things, right? And just ask yourself, I wonder, what does it take to keep this city moving? Well, let me see. We have a water department. We have an energy department. We have parks and recreational areas. Maybe I can find a way to go and serve those parks and recreational areas. Oh, look, we have this big old park out here where people are always jogging. And wouldn't it be great? You ever go jogging sometimes, and then when you get done jogging, you wish there was a Gatorade stand or a water stand or something out, some kind of vendor out there with some type of healthy solution when you feel dehydrated. Imagine if you go and propose something like that to your city, and they say, you know what? We do need something like that to enhance our local municipal quality of life program. So these are some serious gems, and I hope you are listening. I hope you are taking heed to this. This is what GovCon Empire and Sky Acquisitions are all about. All right? Now, once again, you get paid because the country needs to keep moving. It's that simple. You get paid because the city needs to keep moving. You get paid because the state needs to keep moving. Bruh, I'm from New Orleans. We got all kinds of dysfunction over there. So if, let's say, for example, if you see some things that need to be fixed systemically in New Orleans, right? I hope they don't come get me for this, right? But you give me a call, right? And say, hey, Derek, I've seen some things in your dysfunctional hometown that I think could be better. What do you think it is? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All of those potholes, or the fact that there's not many transportation corridors between New Orleans East and Chalmette. Or maybe there are transportation corridors, but they seem to be a little unsafe. What kind of administrative protection plan can we put in place so that the people in the city can feel more efficient travel between these unsafe corridors that don't seem as though they're getting enough attention? Make sense? There are so many ways you can create opportunities for yourselves just by understanding infrastructure. And the people who work every day, the 9-to-5 workers who work in the various city, state, and federal agencies, you can create a contract or win contracts just by either serving infrastructure itself, meaning coming up with mechanisms that create efficiency for the things that we need to move throughout society every day, or making it easy for the people who work in the places that oversee infrastructure, the workforce. How can you serve the workforce? Maybe you provide live entertainment every month. Maybe you provide live entertainment. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of workforce leaders who would love for someone to come into their space and give them ideas that can uplift morale. Retention operations. You know why that is? Because guess what? If they can keep morale high, then that agency can do what it does to uphold infrastructure better. So what can you do to help them do that so that they can help you? Because these agencies, when they function, your quality of life becomes better. These agencies are in place to uphold infrastructure so that the citizens can have an acceptable quality of life. If you want to learn more about this, or you want some one-on-one coaching or consulting, we do offer paid consulting services. For those who don't know, I am a 20-plus year consulting and procurement veteran. I was a former contracting officer and procurement officer across various agencies, which included Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, contracts with the Department of Agriculture, as well as City of Houston and Environmental Protection Agency. So I've been able to do a lot of things to help these agencies move efficiently from a policy standpoint. I served as a procurement officer, contracting officer, acquisitions officer, chief policy officer, and as well as a consultant for a lot of the energy companies who serve the Department of Energy and those various sectors of infrastructure, which allow us to have lights and energy. All right. So you can reach out. Let's see, I have a updated. Well, the number is actually on. So, and look, some of you, it's very important for me to say this. You have to stop being lazy. I look on the TikTok channel, GovCon Empire. So many people come in the comments and say, more info, please, more info, please. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're commenting more info, please, and you don't have enough discipline to at least slow down. No one's asking you to go take a field trip. Take that same phone that you already have in your hand. Slow down. Go to the main page of whatever channel you're on. In this case, GovCon Empire. Back out of this video, go to the main channel, hit subscribe, and then look at the channel description. The phone number is there, starting with 504. It ain't that hard, all right? You don't need to tap in the comments, come into the comments and say more info, please, and then hope that you get a comment back when the information is already there. That's literally the same thing that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. Pay attention, slow down, read, and you can literally be seeing a couple of extra zeros in your bank account within the next 4 to 8 months. Talk soon.